Welcome to another episode of the Doors of the Universe podcast. I welcome you back, all of my fellow door openers. Seek to unlock all the mysteries of this wonderful, beautiful, giant universe that we live in. It has been at least a month, according to YouTube, since we've last recorded, and I have no good excuses. I have just been, I guess being busy is a decent excuse, right? It has been a whirlwind of activity at work. A lot of positive changes, a lot of moving forward. So that has been a positive. I am also taking an online course for work, which is taking up a lot of my outside of work time. But it's good. I'm learning things. I'm learning how to become a better leader. But no, seriously, it has been good. It's one that's been, they're paying for us to do a Harvard Business School online training. In-depth, detailed, and seems to be actually teaching me things that I need to know in my role as a manager. But yeah, that has been taking up a lot of time. We've been apart for a while, and there is a lot that has gone on since we've been apart. I guess with this, in this realm that we delve in, the biggest thing would be the UFO hearings. I'm hoping y'all got a chance to check those out. If not, watch them on YouTube like I did, because I believe I was working when they were going on. So caught up on all those on YouTube. It makes me excited. Not, I don't get afraid of aliens. I have high hopes for correction. I get excited for UFOs. There is no confirmation of actual aliens. Could have just been like a surveillance type situation or something like that. We don't know. Maybe it was from somewhere on Earth. Its origins were on Earth. But yeah, seeing the little Tic Tac doing all of its little maneuvers and everything gets me excited to think about the future of technology and everything. And the possibilities that come with that. But if you haven't watched the UFO hearings, I highly recommend checking those out. Got to go see Less Than Jake recently. That is the music portion of this, which we really haven't delved into music much at all on here. But I love music. I love live music. I love going to shows. I love getting to see bands that I've never seen live. Less Than Jake was one of those bands that I had not seen until this week. They did a Welcome to Rockview full album. They played the full album. That's the first time going to a show where a band plays their full albums. They let us know that they would be playing all the songs on the albums, the bangers and the ones we hate. Not hate. You don't really hate the song. You just normally skip them. They're not the top notch. They don't slap quite as much. But they did get to play my favorite song, All My Best Friends Are Metalheads, and even got a shirt on the back. It says in the same lettering, All My Best Friends Are Metalheads. If you don't know the song, give it a listen. Check it out. It's good stuff. I'm not even that big into ska, but I do like Less Than Jake quite a bit. I won a Gnarly's gift card. I mean, that in itself, that's a winner for me. Gnarly's is one of my favorite all vegan burger carts here in Portland. If you haven't had Gnarly's, check them out. They are phenomenal. So good. So that was fun. It's the first time I've won anything in an Instagram giveaway. So yeah. On a less positive note, I am once again single, and that's been a change, but it was an amicable, I think it was an amicable breakup. We decided that right now it's not the time, so it's okay. And that's okay. We're both figuring out our lives and figuring out how to be the person we want to be. Which, I mean, that's big. That's a big change, especially for me, who has only been in Portland a year and a half, hasn't made a lot of connections and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, breakups are never fun. It has definitely been something that I've definitely not allowed myself to process yet. I think once I move into a new place and just kind of have a little more me time, I think it'll be a better time to just be able to sit and process everything. I've gotten through a lot of changes. I moved to Portland. In the last couple of years, I've moved to Portland. I've moved up at my job 3 different times. Looking for a new place. I'm going to be living on my own. Believe it or not, I've always had roommates. I am not a fan of living alone, but I'm also not a fan of being roommates with someone I don't know. So I've been lucky most of my life. I've had roommates of people I knew and people that I trusted and liked living with. But yeah, so that is another step in this wonderful journey. Me hunting for apartments in Portland, which they're not lying when they share those memes about the paying egregious amounts of money for a small amount of space. One of them I'm hoping to get is in a neighborhood I like, close to some restaurants and stuff I like in Portland. So fingers crossed. I went and saw it this week, and we're going to run the background check. Let's hope they don't find those bodies in Reno. No. It's looking good. Things are looking good. But I'm happy to be back here in this moment with you. Whatever this is, your morning, your evening, your drive home, your dinner, your breakfast, your lunch, whatever time it is right now, I'm here in this moment with you. And I am here to focus on things that are fun. Half the reason I do this podcast is so you can have a break from all the news and all the negativity and all the day-to-day things that we deal with that are common stressors that build up all the time. This is a nice way to step away, get away from it, and have maybe like 45 minutes to an hour of just thinking about things that are fun, possibly out there, and just kind of have a little getaway from the stressors of life. And for me, I enjoy doing that, being able to research all this and learn more about these. But I also enjoy knowing that I'm giving you a break from whatever you're doing. Or it could just be background noise for when you're having to do those things that you don't want to be doing. But yeah, so I'm glad to be back. I'm glad you're here now listening to this as you are. I know this is going to surprise you. I know this may freak you out a little bit, but this episode is about a cryptid. Yeah, I know. It's not my norm. It's not my go-to. I'm just kidding. Almost all my episodes are about cryptids so far. And that is not due to not having other topics out there. We leave it up to the wheel of destiny, and it decides what our next topic will be. That brings us to this episode. What is this episode, you're saying? We've gotten, how far are we in here? Like 10 minutes in here or something? Yeah, we're like almost 10 minutes in. What this topic is going to take us deep in the heart of Texas. Actually, I don't know where it is. I need to look that up real quick. I'd like to say this is right in the heart of Texas, but I mean, that's Abilene, really, if we're looking at it. Yeah, maybe a little south of Abilene. Either way, this takes us to, we are once again traveling to the south to find ourselves in the midst of another wonderful, wonderful cryptid. We are entering the Summer of Love, as it was called, in July of 1969. Nice. The number one hit on the Billboard is Zager and Evans in the year 2525, which if you haven't heard in the year 2525 by Zager and Evans, you're missing out. It's a blast. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm sure it was a culmination of things, but when I was a child, I loved that song. I still love that song. It's a fun song. It's talking about what the future of humanity looks like. Check it out. This same month of July 1969, Apollo 11 has reached the moon, and Neil Armstrong is the first man to step foot on it. If you believe that happened. Sorry, I've just got to step aside. I'll share it on Instagram and Twitter and everything, but it just makes me think of that meme where it's like me, a conspiracy theorist, talking to someone, and they're like, somebody's saying that's when Neil Armstrong was first man to step foot on the moon, and the next person is like, oh, you believe that happened? And then me, oh, you believe there's a moon? And July of 1969 is only 1 month before 350,000 people head to a dairy farm in Bethel, New York for the first Woodstock Music and Art Fair, commonly just called Woodstock. I just want to give you like kind of a little reference point of where we're at. The reference point of where we're at in time. So I think when it's not super recent, I'll be giving more like more information, historical information. I heard on one of the podcasts I listened to, they did it, and it's like, you know what, that kind of connects things for me. It gives me better understanding where the country is at that point, where the world is at that point, but mainly the country because we're in Texas. Oh, deep in the heart of Texas. So what are we talking about? What is this fantastical cryptid that I am talking about? I am talking about the Lake Worth monster, the Goatman of Greer Island. There's a few names for it, but this is a cryptid that showed up in July of 1969. Inner Lake Worth, just west of Dallas and east of Fort Worth, Texas. In the middle of the lake is a landmass known as Greer Island, where the monster was alleged to have roamed. The creature has sometimes been called the Texas Bigfoot. Me personally, looking at the pictures, I would call it the Texas Yeti. But that's just me. I shared a picture on social media. I shared a picture on the socials, and I don't know, it looks like a big fluffy cotton ball to me. Although stories and sightings of the creature had been common for a few years, attracting many young thrill seekers and skeptics, the first photograph didn't surface until 1969, which is the picture I've shared. In Texan folklore, the Lake Worth monster is a legendary creature said to inhabit Lake Worth at the Fort Worth Nature Center and Refuge, just outside Fort Worth. The creature is often described as part man and part goat with scales and long clawed fingers. And as far as the description, it does vary. Some people call him the Goatman, the man goat. Some described it as having a short, human-like body with the head of a dog or a goat with a single horn in the middle of its head. Others claimed it was between 6 feet 9 inches and 7 feet tall, 250 to 300 pounds, long-necked, floppy-eared, slope-shouldered, pot-bellied, covered in white hair or scaly. There was also talks circulating about sheep being ripped to pieces, and of cattle and dogs killed and mutilated. But yeah, if we're going on, which most of the reports, I don't know where this article got its information about the shortness. Almost every article I've heard has talked about the creature being very tall. 6 foot 9 inches and 7 feet tall is what it says here, 250 to 300 pounds. And just for reference, I am 6'7" and 350 pounds. So I'm imagining, and people are always in awe and amazed by my height. I'm imagining me, but at least 2 inches taller and about 50 pounds leaner. I mean, this thing it's tough, it's rough, it's ready to rumble. You know what I'm saying? It's a big boy. That's your big boy. That's your big boy model right there. Yeah, so that would be how we're describing its size and height. But yeah, no, this thing is, from most of the reports I've heard, this thing was huge and very, very intimidating. Let's hop to July 9th, where there's a group of 3 couples parked by a clearing. Around midnight, a beast leapt onto the car from the trees above. The monster tried to grab one of the women, but they sped off before it could take her away, the witnesses said. We've had reports about this thing for about 2 months, a police dispatcher told the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, but we've always laughed them off as pranks. There was an 18-inch gash in the car's side, and the terrified nature of the witnesses led police to open a full investigation. It appeared in the newspapers the next day, and the area was immediately caught in monster fever. Yes, monster fever. So what happens when people get into monster fever? Well, truckloads of men with guns headed toward Greer Island to hunt the thing. Spectators came out in droves to try and catch a glimpse of it. Reporters swarmed in, and police tried to keep the peace. Rick Pratt, director of Greer Island Nature Center at the time, remembers folks coming out with wine, whiskey, and beer to have a good time and hunt for the creature. If that don't sound like Texas, I don't know what does. Me personally, I do own guns. I've also engaged in the drinking of alcohol. Next month, 7 years sober. But as someone who is sober and who knows how I get when I'm drinking whiskey, wine, and beer, I think mixing the two things together just always seems like a poor decision. Folks, don't mix alcohol and guns. Let's just put it at that, and let's move forward from there. That's your friendly reminder of this episode. Don't drink and shoot. All right. Okay. So here was a Sasquatch, our very own. Pratt said it was a party. What the hell? Let's go. Oh, damn. Texas, I tell you, y'all are wild. You're all wild for this one. Only one day later, on the night of July 10th, a few dozen people were at a clearing known for dumping near the lake, where the monster made another appearance. It appeared on a cliff, looked angry, and threw a truck tire 500 feet. Everyone, including a group of sheriff's deputies, ran away in fear. Gun's only going to get you so far. No, yeah. So you've got this large 7-foot creature, large, fluffy, beautiful white-haired creature, just standing on the top of a clearing, and next thing you know, there's a truck tire flying at you and going past you all the way up to 500 feet from its original location. That is a situation where I'm probably heading out. I'm out of, I'm gonna head out now. But I mean, even if this thing just appears normally and isn't chucking tires at me, yeah, I'd probably look for a minute, but then toodaloo. One witness said the monster gave a pitiful cry like something was hurting them. Probably got shoulder issues like me, and chucking a tire like that is probably not good for your shoulders. Newspapers also published a photograph reportedly taken of the creature by Alan Plaster, and locals began driving out to the lake at night to get a look at it. Local police investigated the claims, but found no evidence of the monster in the Lake Worth and Greer Island area. According to one reporter, the Goatman, Lake Worth monster, legend was spread via summer camp stories where camp counselors told children to listen carefully and you'll hear the cries on a clear night like tonight. Yeah, and a couple of episodes, podcast episodes I'd listened to, they were making some interesting sounds to amplify, but it did sound like it was just something in pain. It's probably just like, maybe, I don't know, wanted to play a game of catch, hoping somebody would throw the tire back. I don't know. These cryptids get lonely. They're out there all by themselves. They don't get seen very often. I mean, just maybe throw the tire back. That's just me. Now, what was actually in the photo is more of a mystery. But at the time, there was plenty of people who believed or wanted to believe in the Lake Worth monster, also known as Goatman. In a later interview, Alan Plaster I'm going to go with Plaster. 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 I'm going Plaster. That seems like it. But you know how names are. Later in the interview, Alan Plaster commented on the photo, described as a man-sized white fur ball that he took while driving past the nature center in 1969. Plaster characterized the sighting as a prank, saying whatever it was, it wanted to be seen. Since reports of the monster ceased when school resumed, many suspected the incidents were pranks carried out by high school students. Or maybe it was just a young monster and it had to get back to school as well. Did anybody think about that? No. You're inconsiderate. Just think about humans. There's so many more things out there. So many more species out there. I'm sorry. It's draining. It's hard to be me. We'll move on to possible, mind you, explanations. Not proven explanations. The creature hurling attire was found out to be a man. Vinzens, 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 as he was called, admitted in 2009 that he was involved in the tire throwing. He claimed that he was rolling a tire along with some friends that hit a bump and went into the air, eventually landing very close to bystanders. All right. So I got a man claiming to have rolled a tire and making it go 500 feet. Now, even if the 500 feet was an exaggeration, still having a tire, and the way they describe it in the incident, they say it's a creature, the creature hurled it at them. They don't say the creature was just standing there and then next thing you knew, a tire came flying out. No, they said the creature hurled it at them. I have a hard time with this, with as many witnesses that saw it happen, that would be, everyone would explain it so poorly. KDFW, a Fox-owned television station in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, did a lengthy report in November of 1999 about the Lake Worth monster. It interviewed some of those who saw it, such as reporter Jim Mars and Sally Ann Clark. The report announced that some high school students admitted to the police that they had pranked people by dressing up in the gorilla suit and parading around the lake in 1969. Again, my only issue is 90% of the time, if you're getting a gorilla suit, it's going to be brown or black. That's just... I'm sure there are white gorilla suits out there, but I don't know. The picture is definitely white and fluffy. Lovely, lovely coat of fur. I mean, brushes daily, keeps it clean, didn't look like there was anything in it. Flowing in the wind. Did not look like a costume quality coat of fur. Again, that's just me. In 2005, a reporter at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram received an anonymous letter from someone claiming to be one of the 3 high school classmates who in the summer of 1969 decided to go out to Lake Worth and scare people using a tinfoil mask. In 2009, Fort Worth, Texas magazine published... Is that the name of the magazine? Fort Worth, Texas magazine published a report about an unidentified man who said that he had been a perpetrator of the tire throwing incident. Cryptozoologist and blogger Craig Woolheater said he believes the Lake Worth monster is an undiscovered, uncatalogued primate species that walks on 2 legs. So yeah, these are some possible explanations. We have a lot of people coming forward saying they were the Lake Worth monster. I don't know if they're looking for 15 minutes of fame, or maybe they were actually the Lake Worth monster. I don't know. Maybe the Lake Worth monster. I don't have the answers for you. I just bring you the facts that I gather and bring it forward to you. Push those forward to you. In pop culture, since 2009, the 40th anniversary of the sighting, the Fort Worth Nature Center and Refuge has held a Lake Worth Monster Bash each October. In 2019, the Fort Worth Water Department's H2OMG podcast released a 4-part audio series on the legend of the Lake Worth Monster. I love the fact that the Fort Worth Water Department has a podcast, and that podcast name is H2OMG. I love it. Love it. I'll be looking that one up. Even today, stories of the monster, also known as Goatman, can be heard around campfires in North Texas. Researchers have made documentaries and written books. Lakewood Brewing Company even decided to pay respect with a limited release, Goatman beer. So there you have it. That's what I got on the Goatman. This episode is short and sweet, and hopefully it brings everything that you're looking to know about by checking out this podcast. Yeah, what do I think? What are my thoughts? 9 times out of 10, I'm going to lean towards the cryptid's a real thing. I want to believe. I want to believe it's real. It's, and that's the thing. For me, having the group of witnesses see it, I understand, like, sometimes you'll have cryptids where there's, like, one person or maybe 1 or 2 sightings. But when you have a large group of people, and then you also, this group of people, a few dozen people, sees this monster chucking a tire 500 feet, yeah, I tend to believe when there's multiple witnesses on a same night, seeing the exact same thing, claiming the same things, I want to tend to believe that group. I want to believe. I'm going to go with I do believe that the Goatman was a thing. I know, like I said, you've got these kids and everything that are saying they were doing this, but how are you chucking a truck tire 500 feet? I looked at the spot where it was. It doesn't look like there's enough rollout for that to be a thing. And again, they said the monster hurled the tire at them. So I'm Lake Worth Monster, the Goatman, whatever you want to call him. I'm a believer in you. So if you're out there, call, leave a voicemail on our voice show or the voicemail option or something. Let us know you're still out there doing your thing. Either way, that is all I have on the Goatman. That is all I have for today. This was definitely a short and sweet episode. Got a lot of information packed in there. There's not a ton of varying information on the Lake Worth monster. A lot of the sources you'll see that I shared overlap and tell the same things. But yeah, for sure, definitely look into it more if you want to. I'll be sharing all the resources at the bottom of the show notes. Look into it a little more. There are some interviews on YouTube for people that saw it and that night and everything. Either way, I hope this was informative. I hope this was... I hope you enjoyed the time you got to spend with me today. But yeah, hopefully I'll be having some more free time coming up here shortly so I can get back and doing this a little more often. I've been busy, so I believe things are going to start slowing down here in the next couple of weeks. But as always, check out the socials. I'm only going to say it one time only. The socials are all shared in the top of each of the social I'll share. I've got a Linktree link in the top of each of the socials I'm on. But check out linktr.ee/DOTU podcast. It'll have all my socials, whether that be video, audio, or support. Check those out. And yeah, like and follow where you can. It definitely helps the podcast grow and be a little more visible for people who enjoy the same things that we enjoy. A big thing is Apple Podcast and rating on Apple Podcasts. I don't know why it's more important than other places, but if you rate on Apple Podcast, it does help the podcast a lot. And I guess the biggest thing is tell a friend. Tell someone you know that's into the same kind of stuff I go over, the same kind of stuff you like listening about, and let them know this podcast exists. That is one of the best ways to spread the word of the podcast. Yes. So thank you, as always. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone who supports this podcast, whether it be with likes, subscriptions, following monetarily. SP, you the man. It is appreciated. And I'll see you the next time we record. So as always, keep an eye to the sky. And make sure you're properly recycling your tires so a 7-foot Goatman can't chuck them at innocent bystanders. See you next time.